Hello and welcome to the Bee Formless Flow Driven CEO podcast. I was about to say good morning, but I won't. And welcome, Abbie Richie, to the show.
Thank you
Love-
so much, Bee.
Thank you. I'm loving that we've both got that purple colors combo going on. It's my favorite color. So, and it looks like it could be one of yours as well. I've got a lot to unpack with you today, Abbie. You're a nationally recognized tech expert, a TEDx speaker. You had your company Senior Savvy acquired, and you'd only started it was 12 months old when it was acquired, which was sounds incredible. Or did I get that wrong? It was acquired 12 months ago, but you had your company Senior Savvy, so I got that little bit confused, so sorry about that. And it was acquired by the Smarter Service, which is a company on a mission to help older adults navigate tech with confidence and ease. You're the host of Tech Smarter, former host of Tech Talk. You bring clarity and empathy to the complex world of consumer tech. You're also an aged tech collaborative participant with AARP, and you continue to explore the intersection of ongoing innovation and inclusion. Your work's been featured across major media outlets, including NBC, US Today, Yahoo News, and Fox. You're juggling teenagers, you've got it all going on. Tell us about your journey. Wow, having starting your own company, no doubt building it to huge success, and then having it acquired. Sounds like it's been
Sure,
quite a
sure.
journey for you.
It really has been. What a lot of people don't know about me is that I'm a fourth generation entrepreneur. And so that means that in my family, and this is on both sides of my family, we start businesses, we find unmet needs, we foster them, and then a lot of times start something brand new. And so I just have this in my DNA, right? To try something. And, just even growing up, we would try something. And if it failed, our parents just taught us by example to pick up and try something new the next day. Right. And like every day is just, it's a lesson, it's a learning. And so, Senior Savvy, I started in 2017, was the second company that I started. I never really set out to start a company, but I had done it before. And I would only do something that I was really passionate about. And at the time, I was unemployed. I was applying to numerous jobs. I got laid off the one before that. And I just was like, you know what? I want to do something while I'm looking for another job. And I want to do something where I'm giving back, where I'm helping people, where I can take my kids. At the time, they were in elementary school. I can be able to continue to be there for them, to drop them off, pick them up. I've always worked from home since they were born, and my oldest is 18. So it's really, really important to me to
Yeah.
be on hands-on mom, and also to share some of my skills. And I found myself just at that time helping my in laws. At the time, they had downsized, and then they needed help with their TV and their cable and their Wi Fi. And, anything that they needed help with was just really basic knowledge for me, and yet not for them. And then their neighbor also needed help, really similar computer, printing, phone support, that type of thing. And then their neighbor needed help. And then I found myself in this period of time helping older adults with their technology. And I liked it. Like I'm passionate about it. And I think one of the reasons is because I grew up with my Nana and Papa, who were practically raising us as our parents were running their businesses. And so I just have this deep love and admiration for older adults. I happen to think they are the best people on the planet. And they've got amazing life wisdom and
Yeah.
experiences to share, and they're all in with you. So, like a lot of times we find, when you meet with someone maybe of a similar age or they're younger, their mind is divided into 100 different places. But when you're working with an older adult, they're all in with you. Like they're there with you. They're focused on learning. So I started doing that in 2017 and then just started to grow and scale the business. And then just last year, the Smarter service came along and acquired Senior Savvy, which really and truly was the best thing that could have ever happened to me because it really freed me up to do more of the things I love doing.
Oh, wow. What a journey. What a story. The fact that, it starts with your in-laws and then the neighbors, and then you turn it into a business. At what point
Yeah.
did you go, okay, this has legs? Like, were you like, did you do the whole street, for example? Like, if you started with all the neighbors, at what point did you start to think to yourself, oh, there's an idea here? Because you're a fourth generation entrepreneur, you must have thought pretty quickly, there's something in this.
First I tried to see, how many clients I could care for in a one day during the time that I dropped my kids off and wanted to pick them up. But then I copied a model that I'd used in our previous business, which was a one to many model. So I thought to
Yeah,
myself, how can I be helping many people with this type of support? And because I live here in Arizona, we have a lot of retirees and a
yeah.
lot of retirement communities. So, and actually, I had 5 or 6 of them all within a 3 to 5 mile radius of where I live. And so I thought, you know what? I'm going to call these communities. I'm going to see if there's a need. I'm going to offer a free workshop. And I hadn't written the workshop yet. That's just what we do as entrepreneurs. But I'm going to see if there's a need for it. If they need it, I'll write it, I'll do it, right? Like I know I could do that. So I called the 5 senior living communities in my area and I offered a free workshop. On the spot, I came up with a name, and that name was Cell Phone Secrets for Seniors. I just really like alliteration and it just rolled off the tongue. And who doesn't need help with their cell phone, right? And like I just wanted it to be general. So I offered a free workshop. And by the end of the day, I had 3 bookings. And at the end of the week, I had 2 more. So then at that point, because that happened so quickly, right? It wasn't like I had to do, I didn't even have a I didn't even have a business name. I didn't even have letterhead. I didn't have a logo, any of that stuff. All I wanted to know was, does this have legs? Is there a need for this? And the answer was
Yeah.
yes, right? And so a lot of times I'm in this position of advising and consulting with entrepreneurs, which I love doing. And I try to encourage them regularly, like, don't get caught up on the little stuff like your logo, which is going to be big eventually. But like, don't get stuck on that. Start seeing how you can build out this business first
Yeah.
and then detail some of the other things.
Yeah, yeah, I totally agree with you. It's like get what your product is right, get what your services are right first and foremost, test it out in market, what's working, what's not working, iterate. And so then so 2017, we're quite a year ago. Was that like a wild expectation? Like, was that like a wild dream for you, or did someone approach you, or were you thinking, like, how did that come about?
The merger, the
Yeah,
acquisition, you mean?
yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, ironically, a colleague of mine said, you should speak to the CEO of this company. They're doing something similar to what you're doing, but they're in Los Angeles. And I thought, okay, yeah, I'll talk to them because I'm always in the mindset of collaboration. Like, what are you doing that's working,
Yeah.
right? And so I got on the phone with Terry Dry, and he's the CEO of the Smarter Service, and we just talked about what his model was, where he sees it going, what I've tried, what works. And then we didn't talk again for about another 3 or 4 months. And it just so happened that they were looking for someone with a similar skill set to what I had. And I, at the time, was just incredibly burnt out
Oh, I
of
mean,
running the company. Yeah.
after,
Running the company, of managing tech, my tech support staff. I was just burned out of teaching and doing payroll. Ooh, who wants to do that, right? And so like I just found myself like, goodness, if things don't get a lot easier, better for me, whatever, within the next 6 months, I'm gonna really have to shift how I'm doing things because I still loved working with older adults, but I didn't love running my business. Right. And I think a lot of entrepreneurs find themselves in this position that we become operators of this
Everything.
business that we started. Yeah. hmm And so the Smarter Service approached me. They asked me to come up with a dream job description, which included for me not managing anyone and not doing any payroll and really just focusing in on things I love doing, which is representing and speaking on behalf of the company, doing interviews like this, and going to conferences, talking about digital literacy, about tech support at senior living communities. So now that I've been there for over a year, it has been an amazing process. I couldn't be more blessed. Like, it was the best thing that could have ever happened to me because it's really helped me stay in my zone and continue to do the things I love. Plus, the Smarter Service has a team of people in place in the right positions. There's a marketing team, there's a sales team, there's accounting, and there's growth. There are people, there's operations. And that was something I could never do as a solopreneur,
I know,
right?
I
And
get it.
so,
I hear you. Yeah, it's
mhm,
hard. Like, yeah, someone who's like building their own business 2 years in, I was like, even yesterday, I was just like, oh, you're wearing so many hats. It's constant. And you want to get all these different roles in place, but like financially, it doesn't make sense to be like, oh, I'm going to put this person in, I'm going to put that person in. It's like, no, no, no. You've got to keep doing it all till you get to a point where, yeah, it can be tiring at times when you're doing it all.
mhm,
Mm.
yeah, yeah.
And so now that you're working for somebody, how has that changed though in terms of I know that you love it, but you're an entrepreneur, right? Like you're a born and bred entrepreneur. Is like you've had jobs previously. Do you still feel like you're it sounds like you're able to still be an entrepreneur in this business, but you're working more within your zone, like you said. Like, is that the difference?
You know, it probably took me a solid 9 months to backpedal and to step away from holding the reins so tightly,
Yeah.
just because I was programmed to do that for so long. And it really took, it truly took me 9 months to get comfortable with not being in control
Yeah.
and realizing, you know what, they're really the people on staff here, they're so qualified, they're so capable, they're so much more professional than I ever was, could be. So, and just the whole pace of like the pace that I had put on myself for so long to get all that stuff done, right? All the time, and to meet the expectations of posting on social media and marketing and all that stuff, right? And just like it took me quite a while to get comfortable with staying in my lane.
Yeah, but you were also burnt out, and I've had burnout before. Like I scaled a company, and yeah, and then crashed and burned, after COVID and all that sort of thing. I've been there like 13 and a half years, and I think with burnout, I think you do. I think you have to decompress, which sounds like what you were doing, and so it's like you're in that fight or flight mode, and you're holding on for dear life. So your body's holding on, you're holding on to everything. Senior Savvy was your baby. You've just handed your baby over, like you want to make sure the babysitter or whoever's looking after them now and going to nurture them and grow them, make sure that it's done in a way that, how you did it. So I totally get that. And then I've been in M&As myself before and we've, merged, but we've also acquired businesses. And you see like you see what you see the different people when you acquire a company coming in and it's like a different culture and it takes I do think there's a settling period as well, no matter what, right? Like in terms of having to be able just to kind of find your groove, know your place, but also still have that ability to be yourself and to be your entrepreneurial self and not I think that like would you agree with that?
Yeah, it's been a growth zone for sure. And it's also has been just wonderful to be able to, in this past little over a year, really focus on the things that I do best.
Yeah.
It's been really a growth period for me
Yeah, cool.
professionally.
Talk to me about the intersection of aging, innovation, and inclusion. And what I mean by that is we're in this really intense period. We've got AI coming at us left, right, and center. The world is rapidly changing. And you're working with senior people, right? Like in terms of and like, I was speaking to someone on the pod the other day and he said like the adoption of AI, he said it's still a good 5 years before we'll fully adopt AI. How, like, all the changes in tech, and then seniors wanting to learn, and ensuring that there's inclusion and innovation, and they're understanding it all. Like, what? How do you like when you're working with these? Well, when you're teaching, training these seniors, like, are you training them on AI and things like that as well? Like, how does it work for you with what you do?
So, what we do is we teach them the basics,
Yeah,
and they always want to have a solid foundation of the basics.
yeah,
Okay, and so once they understand the basics behind their phone, the printer, the iPad, they understand the basics. From there, you can start to build upon that foundation. And building upon that foundation then means diving into some of the newer opportunities and options that are out there, like AI. Now, anyone who's reading a newspaper or watching the news on TV is hearing about AI and they want to know about it. But we're not going to come at it and discuss it in terms of how a business professional might use it to, you know, to make a slideshow, for instance, or to do your PowerPoint, or to um, use it in business. We're going to redirect it and present it in a way that's going to help an older adult maybe write a Christmas letter,
yeah.
maybe write up or draft or come up the with with a design for something that they're working on that they want to paint. So we're going to take it to their level. It doesn't mean that we're dumbing it down. It just means that we're finding a way to explain it that matters to them,
I love that
right?
so much. That is so cool because it's so inclusive and you're finding a way that matters to them, but it's still making them feel like they're part of this. Well, they're part of the tech revolution. They're here, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
my mum would love that. Like, she would because she talks about it a lot and I'm not and I haven't had a chance to sit down with her at all, like and we chat GPT or something like that. But mum likes to
Yeah.
understand
Mhm.
tech, the basics of it, and I like how
Yeah.
you do that.
Yeah, you have no idea how wonderful it is to give someone a diagram of, of the phone, like with how wonderful it is to print out a diagram of what all of the buttons and the features of the phone are called. Like, that's how basic it is. Can you give me a diagram so I know what this thing is called? Oh, I never knew that that button meant this, right? And people are just amazed at that, because when you're working with an older adult, they're traditional learners. Like, they went to school, they opened up a textbook, they highlighted things, they love handouts so that they can refer to them when you're not there, right?
I have to
And
say,
so just having something like a diagram, I can't tell you how many people I've worked with over the years who've said, I never knew that if I held this button in, it would turn my phone off.
I have
But
to
they knew how to.
You know what, Abby? I have to give you this quote. I think you would absolutely love it. Let me just quickly find it for you because my mum sent it to my sister and I the other day. Maybe I won't be able to find it now. And it was so cute. Oh, there it is. Because she basically, I'll read it to you if I can. I came across a quote: "Be kind to your parents. It's their first time living a life too. Don't get frustrated when your mother struggles to understand you or your father forgets something you've told him. It's not intentional. Be patient with your parents. They're also navigating life. Cherish moments, cultivate compassion, and remember love lies in understanding." And when she said that through the other day, I was like, oh, that's such a beautiful quote. And what you're talking about here is exactly that, in terms of I don't know, it just gave me a different reflection on my parents, older people, and like they're learning in life too, which is exactly what you're talking about here, right? Like in terms of understanding a mobile phone and just the different buttons. And yet we have this tendency for when people get older, it's like, oh, it's like it's just this, like, and you're just rushing with them. Whereas this is where the
Yeah.
empathy and the compassion comes in, which is what you're amazing at. You must see that a lot, like in terms of which then knocks an older person's confidence around when they're just dismissed, and
Oh yeah. Yeah. I do. I've been in a position many times where, let's say, an adult child is visiting from out of town and is there and would ask me to come over and help his mom learn to use his iPad, the iPad, for instance. So I'm sitting there and I'm talking to his mom, and I'm showing her how to do it, and then the adult child will sometimes just start giving off so much information, too much information about how he might use it rather than how his mom can use it, right? And so what happens then is like it it makes it's confusing, right? And so a lot of times, I would instruct someone like, just keep it simple, right? Even though you're using this device for, let's say, 200 work situations or your process, your mom might just use it for solid five, right? She doesn't need to know the
oh yeah,
intricacies of
yeah,
what you're doing. And I often think that the most loving thing that you can do is to keep it simple
yeah.
rather than do like a whole brain dump of everything that it does, right? So just really keep it simple. It's the most loving thing. The other thing that you mentioned too, that I've seen happen with a lot of grandchildren is that even though a grandchild, like, they grew up on these devices, they do lack the ability to teach slowly and clearly. And what they often do, if their grandparent has a question about their device, I've seen this happen so many times, they do what I call the Titanic takeaway. They just grab it out of the hand, fix it, and hand it back. And oftentimes, like,
Titanic
you don't
takeaway.
know what was done. Titanic takeaway. You don't know what was done. You don't know why it was done. And sometimes it's not done in a way that you wanted it to be done. Right. And so then everything's all messed up now. So yes, the Titanic takeaway. So the most loving thing you can do is teach
Oh my
rather than
gosh,
take
my mum
away.
would absolutely love you because yeah, the worst my like I'm thinking about mum because she's like the minute someone don't touch my phone, like just show me. She wants to learn. She's a learner, like she's a lifelong learner, right? Do you
Yeah,
I've
absolutely.
got a couple of questions. We've got probably about 10 minutes, but I've got a couple of questions for you. Patience. Patience is a virtue. Like you have the ability, you've got clarity, you've got the empathy and the simplicity like tenfold. But do you ever lose your patience? Like, like you must like, or do you have times when you're teaching and like it might be the most simplest thing and it's taking someone longer than normal? Like, how do you hold your patience on like you might be having a bad day, for example, or the kids might be stressing you out. There might be other things going on. I've always said that you never know what's going on in someone's life. And then yet you're working with a generation that, it takes time, it's slower, it's, like it's a process, like you say, it's bite-sized chunks, even like micro.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
How do you
Yeah,
know?
I think it really,
Yeah.
if we look at this in two different ways, so there's a professional approach and there's a personal approach. When we hire people to work one-on-one with older adults, we're looking for EQ over IQ. So we're really looking for someone
Yeah.
who has a lot of emotional capability to be patient, to take down notes, to be ready to repeat everything that they just said again. And so one thing I would recommend to a lot of adult children that are helping their parents is to really determine, is this how I want to spend my time with my parents? It may not be your best skill set, right? And
Yeah.
that's okay. It's okay to admit that. Like, gosh, when she asked me to help her with this, I really lose my mind. But I'm more than happy to go shopping with her. I'm more than happy to spend time with with the grandkids or cooking together. But when we do technology, it's just like it pushes my buttons all over the place. In a situation like that, there's support out there, like the Smarter Service,
Yeah.
where someone who's compassionate and patient and skilled can work one-on-one with your parent. You don't have to
To
be
do
the
it.
default
Yeah.
tech support.
Yeah. I
You know
love
what I
it.
mean? Like you
Yeah.
really don't. You really don't. Especially if it's like infringing on your relational time and not bringing out the best in you as a daughter.
Yeah, that's a really good angle there. When you booked into the podcast, I asked a question around what's one unique insight around life leadership, business experience, and you said progress trumps perfection. Can you please
Mhm.
elaborate on that?
Yeah, sure. And we kind of talked about that a little bit earlier. So when I started Senior Savvy, for instance, I didn't have a name for the company. I didn't have a logo. I didn't have a website, right? And I remember in that same exact week that I called the senior living communities and let them know that I wanted to offer them this free workshop, which I hadn't written and didn't even know if anybody would want. Anyways, I remember after getting those bookings, I thought to myself, "Oh my gosh, like I need a logo." And I was at hockey practice, and my 12-year-old, 13-year-old daughter was sitting there. I said, "Can you just make me a logo on Vistaprint? Make the logo for me, because I don't want to spend too much time on it, you know." And so that's progress over perfection right there, right? And not long after starting that business, I was interviewed for a local magazine, and I didn't have a website. So I was like, oh, and as an entrepreneur, like you want to do all this stuff yourself, save yourself money, whatever you feel like, you can poke your way through it. Oh, so I just created a Facebook page instead. I was like, this is how you can reach me on Facebook, right? Like
Smart
not
move, though.
perfect.
Smart move because the
Pardon?
smart move because the older generation, they love Facebook. What do they call Facebook? Grandparents. It's a grandparent social media platform. So
Yeah, exactly.
smart move to have Facebook first over a website. I think we get so caught. I don't know about you, but I think we do. I think there's so many, from a business entrepreneur perspective, you should be doing it this way, this way, this way. You can get so caught up on, oh, I've got to do all of this stuff. And I think for me, it's about also like removing all the white noise and like you say just starting and just testing it out. I know we did speak about that, but I think it's really important because it kind of is similar with what you're doing. Well, not similar, but in terms of, working with an older generation, like it's just take a first step forward, like baby steps, do it. Like, how do you start in a simple way so that you don't overwhelm yourself? Because burnout is real and it can creep up on you. It's stress that builds and it can creep up on you. And then once you're in it, it's really hard to get yourself out of it and you are exhausted. Would you agree with that?
Oh, 100%. 100%. I remember, a lot of times I would put a post-it by my desk and say, like, this is my goal for this week. I'm going to focus on these three things that are going to move the needle, right? I'm not going to focus on like my whole big to-do list. Like, yeah, sure. If I get that done, great. But I need to focus on these three things that are going to move the needle. And a lot of times what we focus on is entrepreneurs, like kind of the nitty gritty of stuff instead of what's really going to push us forward. And and that helped me a lot. Plus, we have to do the things daily that bring us passion.
Enjoy.
So yeah. And if you are all to do, like you end up with very little in your, tank to keep you going. And
Absolutely.
yeah, and so like I always encourage people, focus first on the things that are going to bring you passion, and second on the to-dos.
Yeah, it's funny you say that. I've got my little pink three things this week, no, and I'm pretty through them, but I'm exactly the same. Keep it really simple, and you have to have the
Mhm.
passion to. I think it's finding joy. It's being able to walk away, step away, to get that perspective, that fresh perspective, to give you the clarity to then make the next take the next step. How do we find out more about the smartest service? Is it an international, or is it like in the US only? How, like, is it something that do you have online courses or online training or anything like that?
Yeah, you can find out more about the Smarter Service on the website, thesmarterservice.com. We also have a YouTube channel that anyone can access anytime with videos on there. One thing I've been doing a lot of lately is creating videos on fraud and scams, and those are
Oh, yeah,
universal. So anyone can get a hold of those, and I update them all the time because it's just an ongoing topic that we need to bring more awareness to. So you can find more information at thesmarterservice.com. And you can also connect with me on LinkedIn.
awesome. Okay. Any last wise words of wisdom, Abby, for life in general, for business?
Yeah, I really believe that of you're in charge of what your time is like. You're in charge of it. Okay. And time is the one commodity that we don't get more of,
No.
right? And so we have to just be really prudent about how we spend our time. For me, it was all I always wanted to be a mom. Like that was my biggest and highest priority. And so I designed my life around that. And you can design your life around your biggest and highest priority.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I speak to a lot of my clients about that. How does like work, how does whatever fit into your life? Like it's not you fitting into work, it's not you fitting into it's the other way around. And I think that that's the future of business, that's the future of leadership, it's the future of life. That's the future. And that's what will
Yeah.
prevent the burnout. It will ensure that we have continued passion, the joy you talked about, the passion. Absolutely, absolutely love that. Thank you so much, Abby. It's been such a joy. I've got all these ideas actually about for your company.
We
Like
can meet again.
even just with my mum, like the other day with at the telco company, and I was like, oh, you need a concierge. You need someone to go with you, mum. Just like all lots of different things. But yeah, you've opened my
Yeah.
eyes, and yes,
Good.
great insight. So thank you so much, and have a
You're
wonderful
welcome.
afternoon, evening.
Thank you.
Take care.